Well, he's healthy, and we want to get him starting every 5th day and try to get him back on track. It's been a struggle for him this year. Early on, I thought he pitched better than he did later. We weren't really scoring many runs, which can be frustrating, but we need to get him going. He's too talented to be pitching the way that he has pitched.
Have you spoken to him?
I have not spoken to him, no.
How do you think a young player takes it? Obviously, he knows he was struggling, but do you worry at all about the psyche in a guy being sent down from the majors?
Well, I think you have to be able to overcome adversity to truly have success in this game. So, this should just be a bump in the road for him, to where he, makes strides and he improves as a pitcher, and in the long run, this should make him better. Everyone's been almost sent down. There aren't too many guys that just come to the big leagues and stay and have success. Everyone is usually sent down a time or two. Some guys are taken off the roster and come back and have a ton of success. It's just part of the game.
What in particular do you want to see from him before bringing him back, giving him another opportunity?
Well, I think his command has to improve. He has control, but I think his command, locating his fastball better, and his off-speed has to improve too. I think at times it was too hard, and that's something that we were working on, and he needs to get comfortable with his changeup and his breaking ball.
With Ackley, how long do you expect him to be out?
It's hard to say. He will see Dr. Ahmad tomorrow, and we'll have a better idea, but he has a torn labrum, and that's usually not too good.
Is that, just the only thing that pops up into mind is Bird, and
yeah. It's surgery is a possibility, yeah. So that's why I'm saying, it's my thought is it will not be a quick DL stint.
What went into the decision to bring up Refsnyder or not bring up another first baseman?
Well, we feel that Romine can be a backup first baseman. We could do some other things if we wanted to. You get some versatility with Ref with the 3 or 4 different positions that he can play, seeing some left-handers, so that's why we did it.
Could Romine fill that for, by long-term, meaning the rest of the season, or is that?
It's possible. We'll see how it works. It could be just a stopgap. I'm not saying what it is, but right now this is what we decided to do.
Will you have Refsnyder take ground balls at first?
That's something that has not been decided, but it's something that I've thought about.
Severino had been struggling for a while before the decision to option him now. Is this more that the sample size has gotten large enough, or is it that now you've gotten a longer look at Nova and you knew for sure you have another guy who can fill that role?
Well, I think when you look at Luis, you're looking at long term, and long term we have to get this straightened out. This isn't a guy that's 34 or 35 that has a long track record. It's a kid with a lot of talent, and we want the next time he comes up to be a finished product. And he came up last year. Some of it was based on need and did very well. And sometimes when you enter your second season and people have seen you and you have to make adjustments, probably more than you've ever had to make, it's not always so easy. So that's why I think that he'll get through this, and it's going to make him a better pitcher.
And what was he doing better last year than he was this year?
I think his command was better, and he got on a roll. And sometimes when you get on a roll, it's easy to stay. It's when you're off that roll and you're a young player, sometimes it's hard to figure out, and I think that's what happened with him.
So when you look at the decision to send him down and the decision not to make any move with Michael, what's the biggest difference between the two of them? Michael's not 34 either, he's 27.
Right. Michael has a little bit bigger body of work. And Michael has, some of the other numbers, Michael has struck out more and walked less, and I think his command has been a little bit better, but we got to get Michael straightened out too.
Joe, when you left spring training, what was your feeling about how Luis looked?
I thought he looked pretty good, actually. He threw the ball pretty well in spring training, but you always have to be careful judging, in spring training. You face hitters, and hitters usually sometimes aren't as far as the is the pitchers, and sometimes you face veteran guys that really don't have that same, look in their eye when the season starts. So I think you have to be careful. But I thought he threw the ball well. It did not, and his first few starts he didn't throw too bad. We just didn't score any runs. But it seemed to, snowball a little bit on him.
Considering you thought it, looked okay, and now he's being sent down, essentially, what is your reaction in terms of that going from future ace, and not that he couldn't still be the future ace, to where we are right now?
Well, I still think the kid has a ton of talent. As I said, I think this is not abnormal. I'll bring up a name right here that we saw, Roy Halladay. Got sent back down, struggled, figured it out, and was pretty darn good once he came back up again. So this is not unusual. This is just part of the process for young players.
Joe, will Pineda still start in Detroit on Thursday?
Oh, yeah.
With Teixeira, are you pretty comfortable that he's going to be able to make it through a game with no issues? He had said yesterday he was out there, but he wasn't essentially tested at all, really.
Yeah, my hope is, I don't think we'd put him out there if we didn't think he would, but you really never know until you go through it.
Just a day off for Alex.
A day off today, yeah. Have Carlos DH, and then we'll see about tomorrow. I'll worry about tomorrow.
Just the artificial feel for a DH, does that make a difference?
Oh, I think it can if you're older. I do. I think it can make a difference, but not nearly as much as it does for a position player.
The offense isn't nearly what it was last year. How much of that is just the, Alex and Tex being, not producing like they have, or does it go beyond that?
Oh no, I think it goes beyond that. I do. That's part of it because they're in the middle of the order. But we had some guys at this time last year that were having better years than they are this year. We still have a long ways to go, and those numbers can change. But as a combined effort, we haven't hit as well as we did last year either.
Why has the power disappeared?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. You see them work every day. You like what they're doing, and it just hasn't showed so far.
The approach team-wise is been the same?
Yeah, it really hasn't changed.
I know you guys aren't doing this with Pineda, but you're around the league. You've seen Buchholz get sent to the bullpen. Today, the Twins sent Hughes to the bullpen. When a starter is struggling, how can that be beneficial? When you see a struggling starter go to the bullpen?
Sometimes it could just give them a little time out in a sense. They can pitch an inning or pitch a couple innings out of relief and physically maybe feel better, or mentally they get through a couple innings and they feel better and they come out on a good note, and then they do it again, and then they do it again. It's like, okay, I got it back. I don't know why, if there's a science behind it, but sometimes it just works.
Have you contemplated that at all at any point this season with Michael?
We haven't yet. Obviously, as I've said, we got to get him going because he's important to our rotation. But he's starting Thursday.